Spanish flu happened in the 1920s. So 100 years, but cinemas were still there. We're comparing 100 years of pre-pandemic existence of cinema to 11 months of post-pandemic. Thoda sa apple to pineapple comparison. You've never had KGF 2 type numbers. It's the best movie of Kannada of all time. You've never had RRR type numbers. Again, best in their category. Movie like Kantara, which was made for 20, or Kashmir Files, or some of these medium to small budget movies. They did 300 crores. They did 250 crores. Pathaan, doesn't matter how much it was made for. Let's say 150 crores, whatever, 200 crores. It's done 600 crores already.
Tell me, what does it mean to have survived these last 2-3 years?
I think 18 months when we were shut completely, it was just crazy. I think from a business perspective, we've never experienced anything like that. But then I think I answered this to you last time as well, that what could have been worse than 1992, when I was only 25 years old and my dad suddenly passed away. So I think that's the time, at least with my mom's guidance, my wife, I just realized that, you have to count your blessings, and life can't be just one-dimensional. There are going to be body blows in life, and then how do it's how you react to them. And it's just the way my dad and my mom brought me up, and that just you have to face a lot of adversities in life, and you should be able to try your best. It's not easy. Try your best to handle them. And that's how, so far, all the ups and downs that have happened. I'm fortunate that more ups and downs, I always say. And I was reading somewhere that some people look at glass full and half, but they also forget that it can be refilled as well. So that's a third dimension to a glass, that doesn't matter, you refill it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So that's what has kept me going.
क्या चीजें गई हैं to build this kind of an institution?
I've been a big fan of people who do one thing and do it well, whether they are cricketers or sports personalities or writers, publishers. So many people are there out there, actors, directors, and entrepreneurs. So I thought that if I do one thing, I must do it well. I think that's been my philosophy. Obviously, it did not work out during the pandemic because all my eggs were in one basket. So with that focus, when I was fortunate to have given this opportunity by my father to run the single screen cinema in Priya, and I realized that these are the things, if you do, people will come. If you make the cinema clean, have a little hospitality angle, people are coming for entertainment. Why should our people be rude to them? Give good sound, good projection system. Then maybe people will come. And there are two engines which make this company, this business grow in India. One is the supply side, which is lots of movies, which come 1,500 films a year. And on the other side, the appetite, insatiable appetite for people to go and watch movies outside. I'm talking generally speaking, if I remove the last 18 months or whatever. So that's been the mainstay that has made this industry survive. So I'm the conduit. I call myself the conduit between the two, movie goer and the movie maker. And I felt I can keep improving the experience of this conduit. If I can keep improving the whole, when people go out and they say, wow, this I can't get at home. So that's been the driver right from the beginning, and keep pushing the envelope. And so much, our movie format, 90% of our movies are Hindi, is also larger than life. Our movie format is also colorful, good looking girls, good looking guys, song and dance. And then suddenly the cinemas also can be very colorful. They can also be exciting. So the transition from that world of make-believe to reality can be smoother. So even while the movie is ending and credits are rolling, you can still be in a nice environment, till such time you go out and hit the reality. So that's what has kept me going, is one thing as far as my philosophy is concerned. But there's so many other people who help you along the way. It's never a single person's journey. So I've been fortunate that whether it's the financial institutions like Renuka, who's been 2003, she's been supporting me. Our own team, which has been fabulous. My own family, so many people have ensured that I kept, taking the company forward. And because I had a single-minded focus only on this, so therefore I didn't do anything else. And therefore the quantitatively and qualitatively, the company kept growing.
PVR in India established quality and brand way early. You
Right.
did it with Priya.
Right.
Tell me, consistently building that quality and brand, what does it take?
It takes a lot of effort in terms of the fact that consistency. You have to keep. You have to have a good team that understands you. They understand the philosophy, the ethos behind the brand, and then and you have to give examples of the inspirations which are out there. So I have always been inspired by Oberoi Hotels, for example, Four Seasons internationally, Singapore Airlines, Emirates Airlines, Starbucks. So different industries, different brands have been extremely inspirational, and those are the examples. And there are good exhibition companies as well. I don't want to turn, but I never thought. I thought the Indian market was very different to any other market. So I used to get inspiration on designs and maybe some aspects on technology internationally, but literally from non-outside of the exhibition sector, I got more inspiration because it's very utilitarian to watch a movie internationally. You go, there's no interval either. And even the design is such, you buy a ticket, there's a concession stand where you buy popcorn, Pepsi, you go inside the auditorium and then that's it, you're out. You only come out if you want to go to the loo. That's it, or you need a refill of the popcorn. Over here, it's a 3-hour experience. There's an interval that still breaks. And the average transaction size is about 4 or 5 people. So one person goes pehle to get the tea, then he again comes back to buy something. So I think, and again, it's a little more glamorous because the kind of content that we make, and therefore everybody also dresses up nicely. They come out. So I thought that should be an event. So therefore, those sort of cues I was not getting from the exhibition sector internationally. Those I was only getting from hospitality. Those I was getting from airlines and various other places. So I said, okay, let's get that culture into cinemas. You have to be at it, consistently at it. You can't sit on your laurels and say, oh, I've done this, it's over now. No, training is all the time to be done. It just cannot. There's a relentless effort.
You don't cut corners, right? Because one can easily do that, but PVR never did that.
I think the consumers know, they can tell if you're cutting corners, and you should not cut corners even if I'm making a cinema in Nanded or Ujjain, or whether I'm making it in Juhu or Koramangala or Rex. I don't know whether you've been to Rex in Bangalore or in Director's Cut, because at every price point the consumer is discerning, because that he's saying that if I'm coming out of my home, and it's not easy, to make a program with your family, with your friends, decide which movie to see, which show to see. It's not easy. So if he's making this kind of an effort to come, then the last thing I want to do is disappoint him. I can't control what's happening on the screen in terms of quality of content or whether they like the movie or not. Everything else is in my control, right from the the way the ticket is checked, to the ticket is sold, to the popcorn how is sold, the seating, everything is in my control. So that's what we're saying, that we have to be agnostic to the content. We just have to make sure the experience is fabulous. You need to have the SOPs, and you have to then throw the SOPs and come up with new SOPs, again throw them and bring new, because consumer tastes and preferences keep changing and you just can't sit still.
Today, I was just coming and I was reading Nasruddin Shah has apparently said a day back that in 10 years, I predict that there'll be no cinema hall, that there'll only be OTTs in 10 years from now. I just Googled searched and there was this statement from him. There've been so many predictions. And you've survived all the predictions.
No, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's got the right to express themselves, and I respect him as an actor, definitely. So my fundamental belief is that people will never do something straitjacketed. People, all of us can do anything that we feel like. We can put our feet up and watch a movie at home. I also had missed a couple of movies recently which came on the big screen. I missed them. So I saw them with my mom, last 2-3 weeks. I've seen everything now. I can do that as well. I can watch a TV show. I just finished Farzi recently. And I can also get out and watch Ant-Man. I can also get out and watch, Pathaan just now. And I've already made a program to see Creed and John Wick with my family over the weekend. So we are not straitjacketed. So another very, very hackneyed example, we can sit and order food at home, or we can go out. We have a kitchen everybody has a kitchen. You can make food at home or you can go out. Anything. So I think human behavior will dictate what will happen to the future of this industry. I think as long as we are people who want to do everything and that's why, again, coming back to why I like India, because the population base is so high, so large, that even what Mr. Shah is saying is true as well. True in the sense that some people will stay at home. It is also untrue what Amartya Sen has been saying, that please don't make these statements about India, because it's a land of contradictions. What is true is also untrue. So it is true for certain people and also untrue because the kids today, that's bulk of my market, they cannot be at home. Doesn't matter what's happening on TV shows or whatever, they want to get out. This place is packed. If you look at the food courts, if you look at the restaurants, QSRs, packed on the weekends. You can't walk. Those kids are the ones who want to come and watch a movie as well. Where do they go for a date? Where do they go with their friends? But there is a certain segment which doesn't want to go out and they want to stay at home. So that's true for them. But to say that everybody behaves the same, I think is too much of a overstatement. And so one, I've told you about the consumer side, and the other side is the economics of content making. So economics of content making is that when you make something for OTT or you sell something to the OTT platforms, there's a cap to how much you can earn. So suppose you say I made a movie, I'm just taking an example, for 30 crores or 40 crores. Now you can't say, give me 500 crores for this. You can't. The guy will say, okay, yeah, how much have you made this movie for? And how much will my needle move in terms of subscription, right? That's what they're looking for. And he'll pay you 10-20% premium. Now when you make a movie like Kantara, which was made for 20, or Kashmir Files, or some of these medium to small budget movies, they did 300 crores, they did 250 crores. Pathan, doesn't matter how much it was made for, let's say 150 crores, whatever, 200 crores, is done 600 crores already. So theatrical window, when you release it theatrically, there is no upper limit to when the movie does well. So that is a very compelling reason for filmmakers to not let go of this one channel. So it is not an either or discussion. It is it's always been multiple channels. One channel is theatrical. One channel is OTT. One channel is satellite, then TV. So this whole either or discussion has literally become what OTT stands for, over the top. I think sab coexist karenge. And I love OTT as well. And I also love the fact that at least the money is flowing back to the filmmakers. If the money was not flowing back to the filmmakers, then how will they get encouraged, to make more content? So everybody's free to do both things.
How do you see now the infrastructure growing in our country?
A bit too much.
Oh, really?
So we have almost about 500 or 390 odd screens under fit out and planning. Maybe more actually, I'm forgetting the number. And there are malls and shopping centers being made in every small and big city. People like Prestige Developers, people like Phoenix, Oberoi Realty, Lulu. In fact, I'm going to Lucknow tomorrow to open an 11-screen complex with Lulu. Then smaller towns, and even in Delhi, there's Unity. There is a company called Pacific, DLF. They're building malls left, right, and center.
Wow.
And smaller towns, Ajmer, Vapi, Surat, Ahmedabad, everywhere. So I think this is another phenomena which is organized retail. So we are joint at the hip with that part. Where when anybody conceptualizes making a retail center, they'll say, okay, let's allocate 25 to 30,000 square feet for a 5 or a 6 screen cinema complex. And again, the customer is very keen to go in an air-conditioned environment in the heat of summer, or even otherwise, the convenience of parking the car, going under one roof to buy things or eat or shop or whatever they want to do. So that's also here to stay. And these real estate companies are also doing exceedingly well now. So in fact, it's a problem of plenty for us just now.
What has the last 3 years meant?
It's been just crazy, I would say. I mean, it's been life altering for me, and how to keep looking at the positive side of things. That's it. Otherwise, if I in the last 18 months, if I'd gone too deep into what's going on in the business with zero profits and 18 months of complete shutdown, and all the other negativity around our format which I've worked for in last 32 years. I mean, I would have been completely devastated, but I didn't think too much. Obviously, we all have our volatile moments of weakness, and I went through that as well. But I kept reminding myself of counting my blessings, in that one house, mom being there, my brother being there, my wife being there, my 3 kids being there, taking care of my health, having other, the entire team of PVR being there, the kind of support that we got from everybody. Who would have thought that when your business is closed and people have written you off completely, investors, give us 800 crores.
Because you were always the darling. Right?
During QIP. No, but I was hardly a darling when the cinemas were shut.
That's what.
We raised 800 during QIP, got 400, or I'm forgetting the number, during the rights issue. People like Renuka, Warburg, all supported us. So there was somebody out there helping us. And then the developers, they gave us huge rent reliefs. And some of the film fraternity people also believed. And openly, people like Aditya Chopra also, he also said, I will not release on the smaller screen. I will hold on to my movies till the cinemas reopen. And, Shah Rukh I spoke to, in fact, just now only because Jawan is coming. That's a big movie coming on June 2nd. And there was a rumor yesterday that, it's got postponed by a year. So I said, my God, he's going to be our savior this year. So let me quickly call up. And I just spoke to him and he said, नहीं यार 2 जून को आ रही है, किसने बोला? मैंने कहा मैंने कल सुना था कि नहीं आ रही. कहते नहीं आ रही है, पक्का आ रही है. And it's going to be a big one. And so, the people like that, people like Amir, people like, they all supported. They all came. So it was quite life altering, I would say. At the same time, we are fortunate that we have survived. Personally, I've become a little calmer because, this thing, baptism by fire. Anybody has to, your feet, you don't just become humble, you really realize that anything can happen. Don't take anything for granted. 2019, 100 million people coming to the cinemas, incredible profits, incredible numbers, suddenly shut us down. No business whatsoever. Because, simply because our model was not like that. Our model was not even home delivery. Can you imagine? I didn't even have any cloud kitchens. So restaurants, okay, everybody had a bad time, but restaurants had that QSR model, you could deliver and all that. So I realized, putting all your eggs in one basket, sometimes very out of shape omelette can come out of it. It can really become a scrambled egg with no taste.
Do you have any spiritual anchoring?
My mom.
Oh, yeah?
That's it.
Tell me about your mother.
No, she's a simple Punjabi lady and who's been just advising me right from the beginning, that's it.
She lost her husband in 92.
Yeah. So she's been my force of, to reckon with and something who's been guiding me throughout. Selena is incredible, my wife is incredible, so, kids are like that. So no spiritual guru as such, just, that's it, just whatever she tells me, ke, ये गीता का पढ़ ले मैं वो पढ़ लेता हूँ हनुमान चालीसा का ये मतलब है मैं वो कर लेता हूँ and I try to go deep and understand what it's all about. So nothing like that.
What do you think about the Indian quality of content? अच्छा होगा?
There's no question about the fact that, I was just discussing with somebody the other day that the quality of content on the OTT platform has become very edgy, and I'm not saying it in a bad way because I want everybody to prosper. But I think even the censorship barometer is very different when you come on the big screen and when it goes on the small screen. I was shocked to see some of the stuff I saw recently in an Indian TV show. So I think people have got used to some very edgy stuff now. But suddenly the same edginess, if you have to bring up the big screen, there are issues.
Yes.
And you can't do it. So I think maybe that has had an effect on the quality of, not quality, but some storytelling methodology. But some of the content which has come now was conceptualized pre-COVID as well. All I know when I talk to my friends in the film fraternity is that they've all gone back to the drawing board. And they're again looking at, okay, fine, what is it that they are actually doing a huge amount of introspection to see what works, what doesn't work. And I have full amount of faith in them that they'll bounce back. And so, like if you look at the last year's, some strange things have happened. First of all, the peaks have been so high that we've never seen it before. So that's what suddenly encourages you. I mean, you've never had KGF 2 type numbers. It's the best movie of Kannada of all time. You've never had RRR type numbers. Again, best in their category. In the category of Hollywood, never ever Avatar numbers. In the category of Bollywood, never ever Pathan. So it's crazy. The peaks are like unbelievable peaks, unheard of peaks. And the valleys are also unheard of valleys.
Yeah.
So that's a very strange phenomenon, but it'll settle down because it's only been about 11 months of fully open. So that's one thing. I think consistency will come. But then they've also been like, I mean to say Drishyam 2. Again, not a very high budget movie. Only Ajay Devgan is a big star and Tabu is a big star. But otherwise, the budget-wise, the movie was very simply made on outdoor location. Did about 300 crores or something numbers, I don't remember now, in that vicinity. Gangubai, okay, art direction was very good. Of course, Sanjay Leela Bhansali is a big name. But in terms of a female protagonist story like that, doing the numbers that it did, unheard of.
Yeah.
Kashmir Files, forget about everything else. It's a small budget movie, doing 250 crores plus. Kantara, doing that kind of numbers. So a lot of positive things have happened as well. Also, in the lockdown, people's taste towards regional movies have changed. They saw a lot of regional content. So regional movies no longer regional anymore. So I liked what Rajamouli when I met him and we did a big promotion for RRR. It was called PVR. So I was happy with that. So fine, whatever works, whatever gets people in. And then he said that I'm not making this movie for it's not a regional movie. It's a movie which will resonate with everybody. So I like that mindset as well.
Yeah.
So Shah Rukh's new film, which is coming, he's also got Vijay Sethupathi. The other Vijay is also there. The director is very, very prolific and very, very good. Again, he's saying I'm making it for the whole country. So I think that's a big change. Nobody's making a movie. If they're making a big movie, it's very big. And if they're making a movie small, that's also okay. If you're making for a certain audience. So it's a matter of time. I think it's too early. So I was telling somebody that Spanish flu happened in the 1920s. So 100 years, but cinemas were still there. We're comparing 100 years of pre-pandemic existence of cinema to 11 months of post-pandemic. Thoda sa apple to pineapple comparison hai.
In the last, 7-8 months, Hindi cinemas are not good and South Indian cinemas are good. This type of conversation?
नहीं, conversation तो है ही, हो ही रहा है. और मतलब South में तो we are above pre-pandemic level. Tamil, Telugu movies, Malayalam, Kannada are above pre-pandemic. Even pre-pandemic, the South Indian consumption of movies was the highest, and than Indian than Bollywood. But because we all live in metros like Bombay, Delhi, and we were consuming more Bollywood, therefore we talk more about that. And this passion is a double-edged sword. Passion for movies. We are so passionate. It's like the way we used to be passionate about cricket. We still are. That is crazy. If Virat doesn't perform, everybody gets passionate. If he performs, everybody celebrates. So I think this passion is a very tricky thing. That's why the peaks are there. If itna acha lage Pathan, it is 600 crores plus. This passion, so it is cutting both ways.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't click, then they really. So I think if this extremities that I'm noticing in the behavior is all about how passionate we are, and I still find it's positive. And the other thing, what I was telling you before is that there is a certain segment which is taking its time. So when I was shocked to hear people saying, "मैं 2 साल से नहीं निकला," so there is a certain age group, 55 maybe plus or whatever. Those I think, as an exhibition industry, movie industry, we have to work on. So we are working, trying to get them out. They're still a little hesitant because everybody saw a lot of devastation. People lost.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But the only thing that not worries me is that airline industry bounced back like crazy. Hospitality bounced back. यहाँ पर थोड़ी अभी, and there we are in a 30,000 feet above in a little tube going. We are comfortable going without wearing masks. But in a cinema which has got 12-meter height, and we're looking straight, we're not even looking at each other. What is the hesitancy all about?
Congratulations on INOX merger.
Thank you.
What does it mean for India?
I mean, Indian moviegoers, first of all, the exhibition sector will survive because I think the balance sheets of the two companies had completely got hammered because of the pandemic. And the only way to, one of the ways to survive and make the company stronger was to merge, and so that has happened. So now at least the sector will keep on growing. So it's good news for all stakeholders.
Yeah.
And I think it's a much larger company. You'll get more economies of scale, both on the revenue side, both on the cost side. And so I think it's a win-win for everybody.
What are some of the key fundamentals that you feel are so solid and going for India?
In my sector, too, as I mentioned earlier, it's very unique. This kind of supply of content and this kind of demand is nowhere available. So most of the sectors, most of the countries, unfortunately, because I have colleagues in the exhibition sector all over the world, they are very Hollywood dependent. And Hollywood reduced the number of movies last 12 months. Now again, they are taking it back because most of the studios also build their own OTT platforms. Disney had Disney Plus and Hotstar here. Warner's had HBO. So they start dividing their content of what will go to the theatrical and what will go to their platforms. So that is not the case in India. India, you still had lots of movies. So that's why from my business, I like India as a market because of its uniqueness. But overall, generally speaking, I mean, young population, all the factors that, most of our politicians and economists keep talking about, that this is a time for India. It's such a large country. It's on an expansion spree. If you get your product right, if you get your price point right, if you get your quality right, I think sky's the limit. And, capital also wants to come here only. Of course, there is always going to be volatility, with Fed increasing its interest rates and all that. But generally speaking, amongst other developing countries, India still stands out in terms of a land of opportunity.
Which is your favorite movie?
I was talking to my daughter just now, she's at home. And Coda is one movie, which is about this girl who, it won an Oscar.
Wow.
So this girl whose parents are specially abled, and then she's a singer.
Wow.
And her journey of how to convince them that what she's doing is good was a very touching movie, and I really liked it. It wasn't sad. Some of these Oscar movies, I must say, I find them very sad. This was a little uplifting. And I don't want to go and watch anything sad, to be honest. And that was very good. And amongst Hindi movies, I thought I liked Drishyam too, which was quite gripping.
You can tell us about your alternate career, or is it a hobby?
My alter ego. No, just again, I used to sing as a kid a lot. I had a band called Modus Operandi. And then, of course, when business started, I stopped. I always had some Guruji or something teaching me Hindi. Then in the pandemic, I just got this idea that why don't I again start?
Wow.
And Gaurav Raina of Medieval Pandits is a good friend. So I spoke to him. I said, I really want to do something again. And he said, okay.
After how many years?
This was, I think, right after 91 or 90 I finished college. 88 I finished college. So 88 was my band. And after that, now 2020, I wanted to make a band again.
Wow.
And then
this is inspiring.
Then he said, Acha. So then I tried to do the rock-on thing, which never worked. I spoke to the guys who were my band members in 88. That was total disaster. So I spoke to a guy called Vikas Chandar and another guy called Anuj. If he's looking at the interview, he was a guitarist. And they all had moved on. I said, what's wrong with you? That can only happen in movies. And then he said, forget these guys. You just, they will not come back. It's very tough. Just get very good musicians and a good drummer, good bassist, good guitarist, and synth player and all that. And then another guy called Manu, he put the band together. And we called it Random Order. And I spoke to these guys, okay, listen, take me seriously. I know I'm a businessman, but I'm very committed. I'm going to practice as much as you guys do. And I just want to do this 80s nostalgia music, and also basically some new songs which resonate with me, and not too much pop, like classic rock sort of stuff. And do you like this kind of a playlist? So I shared the playlist that I had. And they loved it. He said, sir, nobody's been doing it for a very long time, this kind of music. And that's it.
Ajay, what has money meant to you?
It changes, the meaning changes as you grow older. It's also a barometer to measure your success. So if I just, one example, for example, when I did Priya, I didn't have a houseful show for the longest time.
Oh, really?
So that said, this is the budget and now build it. So when I built it and I realized that it's losing money, obviously, because the expenses were more, the capital expenditure was done and no houseful was happening. So that time money meant success. Yeah. Money can also mean that, okay, it is a function of getting rewarded for whatever you do.
Yeah.
And then, money provides you comforts and all that. And that is what it is. But I think beyond a point, then it's wealth creation.
Yeah.
If it's always, but it has to be, you have to work towards it.
You thought of CSR way early in your venture.
Yeah, absolutely, because, and there's a book that I'm reading called Deep Purpose. And Deep Purpose said that it should not be lip service. Yeah. And Deepa's sitting here, and I must say that, she's underplaying herself. We can only come out with an idea that and thought that we should. One very big stakeholder is the community. That's what typically people say, that's the most important thing. But she's the one who conceptualized what PVR Nest should be, what PVR CSR arm should be, and took it to another level altogether. Money is also something that shouldn't get into your head. Money should be something that you should respect, and you should just make sure that you know how to deploy it for your personal expenses, personal reasons, or for professional reasons, or for your charitable purposes. I think the moment you let it get into your head, that's the end of your story, because that cannot define you. I think even in life, they say that in the pecking order, that's not the topmost thing. Your pecking order mein kehte health is the most important thing. You should have. Yeah. And there are jokes to this as well. It's very easy for somebody who's got to say all this thing, but it's true. Health, your wife, your kids, all these things, because they take care of you. So lots of time people have tried to rank money first, and then they say, oh, if there's, but health is not there, then what happens? Again, no point. So again, they rank something else, and then again, health comes on top.
What has PVR meant to you? 25 years you've completed.
PVR has given me an identity that, okay, I tried to do something and it worked. So it's something that I'm always been proud of, and I'm more than emotionally involved, attached to it, which is not very good.
Ek cheez jo you would like everyone to take away, because things change, people change, circumstances change, but wo change or volatility mein bhi ek cheez jo yaad rakhe aadmi.
Counting your blessings, because if you just keep cribbing and complaining about what you don't have, then it's a big problem. If you just keep counting your blessings, that, okay, as I said, there is a roof above your head, there is your mom there is your wife there are your kids there, your health is there. These things are very, very important.
Exercising helps, no? You said you went to gym every day or something.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very cliched line that I've used lots of time: bottom line, hairline, and waistline. That's my own mantra in life. I think that's the key to a good lifeline. So I think that is so important. So I used to have a good gym at home, and I took care of myself, and that also kept me going. I still have this crazy schedule where I do take care of that's really something that I have to do every day, 45 minutes to an hour, singing 45 minutes to an hour, and then I go to work.
But singing was not before pandemic, no?
No. Yeah. Now it's become like if I don't sing, I feel very uncomfortable.
Ajay, thank you so much.